Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this explosive breakdown of one of the most shocking moments in daytime television history. Neil Dudgeon kicked off Loose Women after a fiery clash with Denise Welch. For those who don't know, Neil Dudgeon is the beloved star of Midsomer Murders, a show that's all about quaint villages hiding dark secrets. Much like the drama that unfolded on that fateful episode, he's known for his calm demeanor, his sharp wit, and his ability to portray the unflappable Detective Barnaby with ease. On the other side, Denise Welch is a Loose Women staple, a panelist who's never shied away from controversy. She's opened up about her battles with depression, her wild past in the entertainment industry, and her unfiltered opinions on everything from politics to personal relationships. The stage was set for what should have been a light-hearted chat about Neil's latest projects, perhaps some behind-the-scenes gossip from the set of Midsomer, and maybe a bit of banter about life in the spotlight. But oh, how quickly things can turn sour when egos collide on live TV. It all started innocently enough, with the hosts welcoming Neil with applause and smiles, asking him about his long-running role and how he keeps the character fresh after so many seasons. Denise, ever the provocateur, jumped in with a question that seemed harmless at first. Neil, in Midsomer Murders, there's always so much death and betrayal. Does that reflect your views on real life, or are you more of an optimist? Neil chuckled, responding politely that fiction often exaggerates reality for entertainment, but he believes in the goodness of people. That's when Denise pressed further, sharing her own anecdotes about betrayal in her marriages and how she's learned to spot red flags. The conversation was flowing, but you could sense a subtle tension building as Neil tried to steer it back to his work. Viewers at home were probably sipping their tea, unaware that this was about to erupt into chaos. As the segment progressed, Denise made a comment about actors living in bubbles, detached from the struggles of everyday folk, which Neil took as a slight dig at his profession. He defended the acting community, pointing out the hard work and emotional toll it takes, but Denise doubled down, recounting her time on Coronation Street and how she felt some co-stars were pretentious. The other panelists tried to mediate, laughing it off, but the spark had been lit. Neil's face hardened, his usual composure cracking just a bit, and he retorted that perhaps some people thrive on drama to stay relevant. Each of that hit close to home for Denise, who has been accused of stirring pots for attention in the past. The audience gasped, the hosts exchanged nervous glances, and suddenly, the friendly interview turned into a battlefield of words. Neil, feeling ambushed, stood up abruptly, microphone still clipped to his shirt, and declared that he didn't come on the show to be insulted. The producers scrambled in the background, commercials were rushed, but not before Denise fired back with a heated remark about fragile egos. And just like that, Neil was escorted off the set, leaving the panel in stunned silence. This incident has since gone viral, with clips racking up millions of views on social media, memes flooding Twitter, and debates raging about who was in the right. Was Neil too sensitive, or did Denise cross a line? We'll dive deeper into the aftermath, but first, let's rewind to understand the personalities involved. Neil Dudgeon, born in 1961, hails from Doncaster, England, and has a career spanning decades in theatre, film, and TV. He's not one for scandals. His private life is kept under wraps. Married to radio producer Mary P8 with 2 children. Denise, on the other hand, is an open book. Her memoir Pulling Myself Together details her struggles with addiction, mental health, and high-profile relationships, including her marriage to actor Tim Healy and later to Lincoln Townley. She's a champion for body positivity and mental health awareness, but her outspoken nature has landed her in hot water before, like her clashes with other celebrities on shows such as Celebrity Big Brother. The clash on Loose Women wasn't their first encounter. Rumors suggest they crossed paths at industry events, but nothing prepared viewers for this showdown. As the video continues, imagine the studio lights glaring, the audience holding their breath, and the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Neil's decision to walk off wasn't just a spur-of-the-moment thing, it was the culmination of mounting frustration. Reports from insiders say the pre-show briefing went smoothly, but once on air, Denise's questions veered into personal territory, questioning Neil's authenticity as an actor playing a detective while perhaps not understanding real-world issues. Neil, a method actor in his own right, felt this undermined his craft. The exchange escalated when Denise brought up gender roles in crime dramas, suggesting Midsomer was outdated in its portrayal of women, which Neil vehemently denied, citing recent episodes with strong female characters. The back and forth grew louder, with Denise accusing him of being defensive, and Neil calling her out for being aggressive. The other loose women, like Kay Adams and Jane Moore, tried to diffuse, but it was too late. Neil unclipped his mic, said "I'm done here," and stormed off, prompting a hurried apology from the hosts to the audience. In the days following, social media exploded as fans of Midsomer rallied behind Neil, calling Denise a bully, while her supporters praised her for speaking her mind. ITV issued a statement saying it was all in good spirits, but the damage was done. This event highlights the precarious nature of live TV, where unscripted moments can make or break reputations. As we move on, let's explore what led to this boiling point and what it means for both stars' careers. Now, let's delve into the prelude to this infamous clash, setting the scene for how a simple promotional appearance turned into a full-blown spectacle. Loose Women, for the uninitiated, is a British daytime talk show that's been on air since 1999, featuring a panel of women discussing current affairs, celebrity news, and personal stories with a mix of humor and honesty. It's known for its lively debates, but sometimes those debates cross into uncomfortable territory. Neil Dudgeon was invited to promote the latest season of Midsomer Murders, a series that's captivated audiences since 1997 with its picturesque settings and intricate plots. The episode in question aired on a typical weekday afternoon, with the panel including Denise Welch, who joined the show in 2005 and has become one of its most recognizable faces. Before the cameras rolled, everything seemed fine. Neil was briefed on the topics, which included his acting career, family life, and perhaps some fun facts about filming in the English countryside. But as soon as the show went live, the energy shifted. Denise, fresh from her own headlines about her wellness journey and advocacy work, seemed eager to engage. She started by complimenting Neil's longevity in the role, but quickly pivoted to probing questions about the show's violence and its impact on viewers. Neil answered thoughtfully, explaining how the series balances mystery with moral lessons. However, Denise interjected with her view that such shows glorify crime, drawing from her experiences with real-life hardships. This is where the friction began, and Neil felt his work was being dismissed, while Denise saw it as a chance for deeper discussion. The conversation heated up when she mentioned her disdain for cozy crime genres, calling them escapist fantasies for the privileged. Neil countered that entertainment provides relief from reality, not a denial of it. The audience murmured, sensing the discomfort, but the hosts encouraged the debate, thinking it made for good TV. Little did they know it would spiral. Denise then shared a personal story about losing a friend to violence, tying it back to how media influences perceptions, which Neil respected but argued wasn't the intent of Midsomer. He tried to lighten the mood with a joke about village fates turning deadly, but Denise didn't laugh, instead accusing him of trivializing serious issues. That's when Neil's patience wore thin. He leaned forward, voice rising, and said, "If you're going to attack my show, at least watch more than one episode." The retort landed like a bombshell, with Denise firing back that she had, and found it predictable. The other panelists jumped in, trying to steer towards commercial break, but the damage was escalating. Neil's body language screamed frustration across arms, furrowed brow, and he muttered something off mic that set Denise off further. She raised her voice, defending her right to an opinion, and Neil stood up, declaring the interview over. As he walked off, the camera caught Denise's shocked expression, and the studio fell into awkward silence. Post-incident, clips were shared relentlessly online, with hashtags like #Neil vs Denise trending for days. Analysts speculated on whether this was staged for ratings, but sources close to the show insisted it was genuine. Neil later addressed it in an interview, saying he felt disrespected and chose to remove himself from a toxic situation. Denise, on her social media, posted about standing up for what she believes, garnering mixed reactions. This clash not only boosted viewership for both Loose Women and Midsomer but also sparked conversations about civility on TV. Digging deeper, Neil's background reveals a man of principles trained at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. He starred in everything from Shakespeare to modern dramas, always maintaining a low profile. Denise, conversely, has thrived on transparency, using her platform to discuss taboo topics like menopause and sobriety. Their contrasting style, less a reserved versus outspoken, or a recipe for conflict. Imagine the control room panic as Neil exited, producers signaling for ads, hosts ad-libbing apologies, and the audience whispering in disbelief. In retrospect, this moment exemplifies how live television can capture raw human emotion, unfiltered and unpredictable. As we continue this script, we'll explore the immediate reactions from fans and celebrities alike, painting a fuller picture of the fallout. The video could cut to fan tweets here, showing divided opinions, some calling Neil a hero for walking away, others labeling him dramatic. Denise's defenders pointed to her history of challenging norms, while critics accused her of ambushing guests. ITV's response was measured, emphasizing that debates are part of the show's charm, but they reviewed protocols for guest comfort. Neil returned to filming Midsomer, perhaps channeling the energy into his next murder mystery, while Denise continued on Loose Women, undeterred. This event joins a long list of TV mishaps, from Oprah's interviews to morning show meltdowns, reminding us that behind the glamour, stars are human too. Shifting gears to the heart of the confrontation, let's dissect the exact words exchanged that led to Neil Dudgeon being kicked off or rather, walking off Loose Women amid his fiery clash with Denise Welch. The segment began with standard pleasantries, but tension brewed when Denise leaned in with a pointed query. Neil, your show is full of idyllic villages where everyone seems polite until they're noted. You think that's a fair reflection of British society, or just a fantasy? Neil responded evenly, noting that drama amplifies life for storytelling purposes. But Denise persisted, saying, well, in my experience, real life is messier, with real betrayals and no neat resolutions like in your episodes. Neil nodded, sharing a light anecdote about a fan who solved a real puzzle inspired by the show. That's when Denise escalated, commenting, but actors like you live in a bubble, don't you? Detached from the grid most people face, the remark stung, and Neil's tone sharpened. I beg your pardon? I've worked hard my whole career, from theater to TV, and I connect with audiences precisely because it's relatable. The audience clapped sporadically, but Denise wasn't backing down. She referenced her own acting days, implying some stars lose touch, which Neil interpreted as a personal attack. He retorted, if you're implying I'm out of touch, perhaps look in the mirror, or a stirring controversy might keep you relevant, but it's not genuine discussion. Gasps echoed through the studio as Denise's eyes widened. Excuse me? I've been honest about my life, unlike some who hide behind characters. The exchange intensified, with Neil standing his ground. Honesty doesn't mean rudeness. I came here to talk about my work, not endure insults. The hosts intervened, but Denise added fuel. If you can't handle a debate, maybe daytime TV isn't for you. That was the breaking point. Neil rose, removed his microphone, and said firmly, I'm not going to sit here and be disrespected. Thank you for having me, but I'm leaving. As he exited stage left, the camera panned to a flustered panel, with Denise muttering, well, that was dramatic. The show cut to commercials abruptly, leaving viewers stunned. In the aftermath, social media lit up like fireworks. Twitter users posted clips with captions like Neil Dudgeon owns Denise Welch or Denise tells it like it is. Celebrities waded into it. Fellow actors praised Neil's poise, while reality stars sided with Denise's candor. Loose Women's ratings spiked, proving that controversy sells. But at what cost? Neil's representatives released a statement appreciating the invitation but regretting the turn of events, emphasizing respect in interviews. Denise, in a follow-up episode, addressed it lightheartedly, saying debates get heated but no hard feelings. Yet, insiders reveal she was upset backstage, feeling misrepresented. This incident underscores the fine line between engaging discussion and confrontation on live TV. Neil, ever the professional, resumed his duties on Midsomer Murders, where he solves fictional crimes without real drama. Denise continued her advocacy, perhaps more mindful of guest boundaries. Visualizing this for our video, we'd show slow-motion replays of Neil's exit, overlaid with dramatic music to heighten the tension. Fan reactions could be scrolled on screen, from supportive emojis to heated arguments. Broader implications include how such clashes affect mental health. Both stars have spoken about stress in the industry. Neil has mentioned the pressure of long-running roles, while Denise's openness about depression makes her vulnerable to backlash. This event might prompt shows to implement better moderation, ensuring guests feel safe. As the script unfolds, consider the cultural context. British TV thrives on banter, but when it turns personal, lines blur. Comparisons to past incidents, like Piers Morgan's walk-offs, abound. Ultimately, this clash humanized both parties, showing that even poised actors have limits, and bold panelists have soft spots. Moving forward, we'll examine the long-term effects on their careers and public images, wrapping up this tale of TV turmoil as we unpack the repercussions of Neil Dudgeon's dramatic exit from Loose Women following his heated exchange with Denise Welch. It's clear this wasn't just a blip but a catalyst for broader discussions in the entertainment world. Immediately after the broadcast, the ITV switchboard reportedly lit up with calls from viewers, some outraged at Denise's perceived aggression, others applauding her for keeping it real. Online forums buzzed with threads dissecting every word, frame-by-frame analyses on YouTube, and polls asking who won the argument. Neil, in a rare public comment via his agent, expressed disappointment but no regret for standing up for himself, hinting that such experiences make him appreciate scripted drama more. Denise, true to form, took to Instagram Live that evening, explaining her side. "I was just passionate about the topic, no malice intended. Neil's a great actor, and I hope we can laugh about it someday." Her post garnered thousands of likes, but also hate comments, prompting her to advocate for kindness online. The show's producers held an emergency meeting, reviewing footage to ensure no breaches of conduct, and ultimately decided to air a follow-up segment where the panel reflected on the importance of respectful debate. Ratings for that episode soared, turning a potential PR nightmare into a boon. For Neil's career, this could be a double-edged sword. While some fans saw him as assertive, others worried it might paint him as temperamental, potentially affecting future guest spots. However, Midsomer Murders viewership actually increased, with curious newcomers tuning in to see the man behind the myth. Denise faced similar scrutiny. Her boldness is her brand, but critics accused her of guest baiting, referencing past clashes with figures like Michael Madsen on Celebrity Big Brother. Yet, her book sales ticked up, and she received invitations to speak on panels about media ethics. Broader media coverage varied. A tabloid sensationalized it with headlines like Midsomer Meltdown, while serious outlets like The Guardian explored the dynamics of gender and power in TV interviews. Experts weighed in, noting how male guests walking off is often praised as principled, whereas women face backlash for similar actions. This gender lens added depth to the discourse, with feminists defending Denise's right to challenge, and traditionalists siding with Neil's decorum. In our video script, we'd intersperse expert quotes with dramatic reenactments, using actors to mimic the clash without defaming the real stars. Fan art and memes would flash on screen, from photoshopped images of Neil as Barnaby arresting Denise to humorous captions like "When Midsomer meets Loose Lips." Long-term, this might foster better practices on talk shows, like pre-approved topics or mediator training. Neil continued his low-key life, spotted walking his dog in London, seemingly unfazed. Denise ramped up her wellness content, perhaps using the incident as a teachable moment about emotional triggers. Interestingly, rumors swirled of a potential reconciliation appearance, but nothing materialized. This event joins the annals of TV history, akin to the Frost, Nixon interviews or more recent viral moments like Ellen's controversies. It reminds us that celebrities are fallible, their on-screen personas cracking under pressure. As we near the end of this deep dive, reflect on how such clashes entertain us but also reveal societal tensions. The video could conclude with a call to action. What do you think? Team Neil or Team Denise? Comment below. But for now, let's tie up the loose ends of this fiery tale. Exploring the cultural ripple effects of Neil Dudgeon's kickoff from Loose Women after clashing with Denise Welch, we see how this incident transcended mere gossip to spark meaningful conversations about media, respect, and celebrity culture.